comes up when we talk about robots and the fear of robots that come in some of these stories. So now we're going to get to the history part. So conceptually, the idea of having a mechanical being is not new. In fact, you can find examples from mythology, like the statue Talos from Greek mythology that Hephaestus brought to life to be a guardian of a city. Right? But as far as the actuality of machines being able to do human-like tasks or become more human-like, we didn't get to this until the 1940s. We have Mr. Alan Turing over here, famously known for the Turing Code and Turing machines. He was the code breaker of World War II that helped to win World War II. But he really set the ball rolling. There were some people in the 30s that made progress, but we didn't see artificial intelligence taken seriously as a science until someone could look to it and say, hey, we beat the Nazis with it, right? In 1952 through 55, we saw the creation of the first AI at IBM, which is a company that's still around, of course. And what they were able to achieve is laughable by our standards nowadays, but it was a huge advance back then. They had an artificially intelligent program that could play checkers. Not chess, there were too many variables and permutations there, but checkers. Right? They had that in the 50s. This is where the government started to take notice of it. Yes, ma'am?
We didn't need to write all that down, did we?
No. 56 through 76, we get to see a big leap in artificial intelligence because the government became interested in it. They were devoting funds towards it. They saw it as a potential game changer for wars, right? And so all of this Department of Defense funding going towards these scientists to try to make a true artificial intelligence or a robotic soldier, things like that. But it wasn't their fault that they failed. They didn't have the processing power. They didn't have the machine memory in order to be able to do that. But the government got fed up in the mid-70s, which is 70 to 80, is considered the first AI winter. What they mean by that is pretty much all government funding was cut off to these institutions that were studying artificial intelligence. And so, obviously, they couldn't proceed with their studies. So, with the drying up of funds, these programs died as well. But we had these people who had dedicated their careers to creating these artificial intelligences. They didn't want to just throw it away. And so in the mid-80s into almost the 90s, we see the first rise of expert systems, where these scientists ended up kind of hacking apart what they had. Right? They had database technology at that point, and so they took that and started to try to market it so that they could continue with their research so that they could do something in order to keep the program going. And like I said, the first major place that we see it is with the stock markets. 87 through 93 is the second AI winter, and this isn't because of a lack of funding. It's because suddenly people started to find that it was more profitable to sell a home computer, right, to get your average consumer to start buying this technology than it was to get a government input for it. So we see IBM comes to the front of the line then, Apple, which is, of course, still a powerhouse today. They were the ones that started to bring computer technology into our houses. So this is where all of the markets shifted and away from studying artificial intelligence as just a process. Modern days, we have a lot of different stuff. 93 to the present, we're getting a lot of success as our storage is increasing, as our processing powers are increasing, that the possibilities are finally there for us to do this. So, and for example, in 97, we had an artificially intelligent program named Deep Blue, which went on Jeopardy and won. They had to stop it from competing. Generally, you win until you don't in Jeopardy. They had to stop him because he was winning so consistently. And this was a big win for Watson at the time, because this isn't just a show this isn't Wheel of Fortune, right? You're not guessing letters. You have to actually understand the nuance of the game, because sometimes it's wordplay, and sometimes it's It's things that start with the same letter, and sometimes you have to phrase things in the form of a question. Right? All of these little arbitrary rules. So for an AI program to be able to do that is pretty neat. And I included a picture down here to show you kind of how an expert system works. That Watson, had 3 possible answers here, and based on the database, the knowledge that he had, he ended up doing statistics. Like, there's a 97% chance that the answer is contempt. There's a 10% chance that it's despised icon. And it played the odds. Like, well, obviously, this is going to be the best choice, and it rang in and gave its answer. Some cool stuff especially in the last couple of years. 2013, we saw the emergence of, or at least the idea of quantum computing, which I can get more into that in a second, which is supposedly going to increase our possibility for processing exponentially. Because currently, you set a computer on a problem, and it works on that problem. With quantum computing, it can work on every problem simultaneously, basically. All right, we'll get more into that later. 2017, we started to see artificially intelligent programs being tested by some of the major companies. We had Google's AI created its own AI.
Watts.
Uh-huh.
Inception.
Uh-huh. And it was actually pretty interesting that the first AI created its own AI program, and as it learned things, it taught its baby the shortcuts.
Oh my God.
So that it didn't have to try 5 things to find the right answer. It knew the right answer, right? So that's a little creepy. Facebook developed an AI that developed its own language that humans don't understand.
Oh, I heard about that.
Then
Like,
it
it started
down.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Facebook was funding it, and the one AI started talking to another AI, and they used English words, but they're all jumbled up and weird.
Right, they would intersperse a lot of numbers. I watched a cool video about the syntax of these speeches. Yeah.
That's like actually Skynet telling me the line right there.
That's not scary.
We can do some research. I'd love to.
There's an AI you can message on Facebook Messenger.
Where is it? I don't have her up here.
Zoe?
Tay, the racist Twitter bot?
Oh,
Oh,
no, I
yeah,
haven't.
I've heard of that.
That was
Went
from
bad.
2015, 2016?
It learned.
Yeah, where this Twitter bot decided, Twitter released a program to study the most popular or retweeted tweets and to build its own tweets based on those, and it only took hours before it started using racial epithets, before it started calling for the fall of Jews and all these sort of things. So they had to shut that one down. Yeah, we're talking the worst of the worst. You should do. We'll do research later. But and then of course the groundbreaking news is recently there was a female gynoid named Sophia, which was named a citizen of Saudi Arabia, and this is the first robot or the first artificially intelligent program that was given the rights of citizenship, which would be normally only given to human beings.
Search it up, Sophia the robot.
Yep. With the rise of programs like Siri and Alexa, we have AI programs in our homes, and they're becoming more and more a part of our lives. So we're really going to have to deal with the effects of the decisions that we make soon and very soon. So some problems.